glad to be back after skipping a week of Craft Hags last week. This is episode 10, and we are going to be making Scrummy's Mushroom Familiar. For anybody who doesn't know what a familiar is, because sometimes you just don't know. Nobody's ever explained this to you. A familiar is a thing, most likely an animal, some kind of animate object that is a small servant kind of thing to a warlock, most likely. Obviously, if you homebrew your characters, a familiar can probably be anything you want it to be, as long as you decide that it has a brain to make thoughts, or I don't know. I mean, it's D&D. You can make it up completely if you'd like. But usually it's a small animal that serves a player character. But in my case, I'm not really sure if mushrooms are supposed to be familiars or not. Usually it's like a pseudo-dragon. When I played Zandala on Dice Camera Action, my familiar was a pseudo-dragon named Summerwise. He was the cutest. But we're doing mushroom familiars. My cat's yelling at me already! In your little box, Beans. I'm sure you all missed Beans. Say hi to the camera, Beans Queens. Look up. Look up. Look up. Oh, you're not gonna do it. This is a great show already. I can just tell. So yeah, what we're gonna be doing today is trying to figure out how we're gonna make a small mushroom cluster that sits on my shoulder. Hopefully one of them is a little bit bigger than the rest of them, and that's gonna be the familiar. So what we have to do today is follow a tutorial I found, and I'll post the link in the chat right now that Willow Beans has had some attention. She just found a brand new box in my studio because we're moving, and I just opened a new box, and she's like, mine? So let me find this tutorial real quick like. Maybe not real quick like. I need to find it. Boop, boop, boop. We are so prepared today, aren't we? It's gonna be a very chill episode. It's been an insane week here at my house. My dad came up from Colorado and helped me and my husband do a lot of house renovation stuff. And he's the best. He gives us lots of his time and money, he's amazing, to make our place better, and we really appreciate him. So thanks, Dad! But that meant I was installing a lot of light fixtures and putting new stairs on the old stairs all week, and I did not get to work on Scrummy. But this week is the week I catch up on everything Scrummy. I want you to be checking that Discord, that Instagram, that Twitter moment. That's all at Craft Hags, all of those things. I'm going to be finishing up all the finishing touches on shoes, corset, shirt, all the things we've made so far, and then post a lot of pictures. It'll be really cool. But that is what's happening all week. I have no other plans. I know I've said this a million times, but this is the week. But yeah, if you want to click on that tutorial I put in the chat, that is a cool video and breakdown of all the instructions we'll be following. We won't be lighting ours up though. I know everybody's really excited. We might be doing light work, just where we put LEDs in the mushrooms, but I have realized and also kind of decided that that might be kind of a waste of time and a little bit of a headache, because yeah, it would be really easy to put a LED in little mushrooms, but they never show up in pictures. They never show up in well-lit areas, and that's basically the only place I would ever be wearing this costume. Like, unless I wore this costume to a rave, and I've never been to a rave, I just don't see that happening, you know. So we're gonna skip the lights. I know it's super disappointing, and it could have looked really cool, but we're just gonna Make it simple. This is I mean, obviously, if you'd like to follow the tutorial, make your own mushrooms, and you would like to do the lights, it's all laid out right there. It's really not super hard. They actually do it way harder than way harder? They do it in a more difficult manner than I would. They actually, like, solder together their own LEDs and attach batteries and stuff. So if that's something that interests you, and you've always wanted to know how people do that, that's a really great intro project. If you have wanted to mess around with something like that, this is a great time. So yeah, what are we doing then if we're not putting in the lights? Well, we're just making mushrooms out of silicone, and they're gonna be like sitting in something that I sew down onto the tunic that we made in the first couple episodes. So what we're gonna do first is eat some pizza because I burnt my pizza. I had to make this one last second, so I'm starving, okay? I'm sorry. Whew, and I forgot I put spicy stuff on that pizza. Ha! I'm gonna mute myself while I chew, because I'm sure that's disgusting. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so, this is the art that we made in episode 1. This is the art that we've been following this entire time. It keeps us on track with what things are supposed to look like, especially the colors. Because in this case, obviously, we could go nuts and make any color mushrooms we want, but we really want mushrooms that are gonna match Scrummy. They're not gonna stand out crazy. Like, look at this. If we put a red mushroom on me anywhere, it would be the first thing you see, and we don't want that. We want this to be like an afterthought or a Easter egg sort of thing where you're not going to notice it right off the bat, but you will notice it eventually, and it'll be cute. So what we got to do first is lay down some protective barrier. I'm going to be using wax paper. I love wax paper. I use it for a lot of stuff. But we're going to be messing with goopy silicone, and we're going to be messing with paint and lots of grody stuff. And I don't want my nice cutting board getting grody. So I'm just taping this down on the corners. Nothing major. By the way, if you like the sounds we're listening to Sirenscape. They're a really cool program. You should all check them out for all of your noise needs. I know a lot of you play, and if you want some mood noises or music even, they have music too that I never play on this show because I know nobody's going to agree on musical tastes, especially not mine. So I never play music from Sirenscape, but they have that too, and it's like cool, like, you know, fantasy D&D music, which is you don't just find that anywhere unless you go to like YouTube and type in like pirate shanties or something. I'm actually going to open this kombucha because I'm thirsty. Speaking of fungus. Ah! I got the cayenne kombucha, so if my nose starts running, it's because I'm eating everything spicy right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on gloves, too. Please always wear gloves when you're using chemicals. One, it just keeps your hands cleaner. Makes cleanup easy. And also, you don't know what kind of chemicals are in there all the time. Crystal says the Sirenscape is great for meditation. I can see that, man. There's some nice white noise on Sirenscape. The best. Fungi raves, the best raves. I'm not going to encourage that. I know what you mean, but other people might not. But yeah, so what we're going to be doing, if we follow that tutorial I posted, is starting with some wire. This is just wire I have laying around. You can just basically cut apart any wire you find as long as it's like posable. See how this is like posable? It's not like, this is paper, don't look at that. But, my cat is still in this box back here just watching me. What a creep. I kind of want you guys to see that. Is she back there? Is she, there she is. She's upside down, but she is watching. Beansy! Are you kiss Beans? I knew it! Okay. Enough silliness, people! This is such... Oh, I moved the camera. Oh, I've ruined everything. Oh, it's all... Oh, it's the... Oh, okay. So, yeah. I need some wire cutters. I actually learned how to remove and install new light fixtures this week, which is really cool! It's like a superpower when you're like, I don't like that sconce. I'm gonna install a new sconce. I feel powerful. So what we're gonna do is just chop off some of this wire. I need to find the wire cutters on here. There they are. They're at the bottom. I'm totally not doing this the easiest way. Oh gosh darn it. Well, these are the most worthless wire cutters I've ever seen. Let's see what I got in this bag. Ooh, big wire cutters. Let's try that. Oh, I cut two. Oops. Oh well. So yeah, I don't even mind that these ones are coated, because they're coated in like a plastic. And this silicone doesn't really stick to a whole lot of things, besides other silicone. So even if I took this wrapping off the wire, it still might fall off, you know. So we're just not going to worry about it. But I do want it nice and long, even if my mushroom's going to be like this tall and next to my face. That's about the tallest mushroom I would want to make, right? Because like if I'm moving my head side to side, especially if I've got those big ears on, like from the makeup episode, I don't want something that's like so tall it's gonna get in my way and like I won't be able to look around or like put a seatbelt on. Like I like to think about all the places I will have to have this costume on, and in the car might definitely be one of them, you know. So think about ways to make your life easier while you're designing it, because it's just gonna help you later. The other thing I need is some pliers, because here, we will just use these for the... So what we're gonna do is like make a little cap ring. So I just made like a circle, and then it's just gonna come straight down from the middle of the circle. So I kind of want it to look like that from the top. And this is going to be the thing that we put our cap on. So we're just going to, you know, and if it's crooked, like, you know, it's just wonky, not standing up perfectly straight, don't worry about it. Mushrooms don't grow straight anyway. And since this is posable wire, you'll be able to mess with it forever. Fix it however you want. That's the fun part about silicone, is it's super bendy and stuff. So what I'm going to do here is get out some of my saran wrap. I mean, generic brand plastic wrap. I don't know. Mentioning copyrighted products isn't copyright infringement if I'm not on TV, right? Right? I don't know. Yeah, we're just going to cut some of this out. We don't need a whole lot because these things are going to be so small. And in fact, we're going to cut some of these into even smaller squares because I think we won't need that much, and we want to make a lot. Not a lot, more than one. We'll see how many we get to make on stream today. Boop. Alright. So now we've got our little things laid out. What we're gonna do is mix up some silicone. What kind of, oh, sorry. Technical difficulties. What kind of mushroom are we gonna make? That's the great question we have to answer today. Now the cat is staring into the corner of the box. She's lost her damn mind. So I really like these ones. They're kind of green-ish blue-ish teal. I like them. But like also they're like just kind of a cool shape. There they are actual size, like next to my thumb. They're so little. I love them. But like this one's called the mouse pea pink gill. I'm not even making that up. Mouse pea. Like look at these ones. These ones have like little pyramid cap shapes. These ones are a little bit weirder. These ones are like all weird, and I actually like this one a lot. You know, like I really like the color of this one, but the cap is just kind of boring. I mean, it's not boring, but you know, this looks more realistic. You know, like it's imperfect. It's got some lumps and bumps, and like chunks taken out of it. Yeah, I think we could try it. Wow, that one is actual size. That's a big one. So we'll just lay the book to the side here. But so some of those colors were really interesting. What we'll do is mix up a couple paint colors here. What we've got is oil paint. I've only seen people mix oil paint with silicone. Obviously the oil is, I don't know if you can hear my cat screaming, but obviously the oil, the more you add to silicone, the less like silicone it'll be. Like we're mixing it in. So something I have seen some people do before they mix oil paint into silicone is put it on a paper plate, and that sucks the oil out of the bottom and leaves the pigments. So maybe we'll do that. Here's just a piece of paper, paper towel, which will work the same way the paper plate would. Oh man. Using wire cutters to open oil paint. Shouldn't do that. So like here's a phthalo turquoise. The pigments don't really matter, and we obviously don't need a lot because we're only like tinting this silicone. We're not painting with it. It doesn't need to cover anything, and if it's a little bit see-through, then it'll look more realistic. We've also got Sap Green. Sap Green's going to be great. Yeah, see, all this oil is just seeping out. And it'll separate from the pigment. Obviously, I think you could just mix in pigments. You could mix in I don't know, whatever you want, honestly. It might not work, that's the only thing. So, whatever you do, just test it out before you actually try to make a whole project with it. But, I mean, also try to be careful what you're mixing with what, because obviously some things don't mix with other things well, and sometimes things don't mix with other things in a safe way. So make sure you completely understand everything you're mixing together at all times, please. I don't want you to go on the internet and be like, Danny said I could put gasoline and fireworks together. But also just other harmful things that you wouldn't think would harm you. Let's just be careful, okay? You're all smart adults, you know. Ugh. So I'm just putting little dabs of some of these colors on. I know it's hard to see. But I've just got like kind of a violet, kind of a green, and a blue. I really should have grabbed a white. But I think we're gonna make like a grayish teal one first. So I'm just taking, like, you can't even see, that black turd on the tip is how much paint I'm using. So I'm just gonna spread it into the middle here. And this is just a normal palette knife. It's got stuff dried on it, but that's not the color we're using. And I'm just gonna hold my saran wrap down. And then this is a caulking gun. We're just using, what is this? Supreme Silicone, 100%. This one's white. We don't want white. We want clear. And we only have a little bit left. But this is like just a caulking gun. And that is spelled C-A-U-L-K. Take our cap off. And then I'm just going to spread a little bit. Oh, it was clogged. Put our cap back on. And this stuff stinks. You're also supposed to be in a well-ventilated area if you're using this stuff. Some of them is more low odor than other brands. It's still gonna reek. It will burn your eyes. If you breathe it too much, it'll burn your nose, which has happened to me. It was awful. Actually, the day before I got on a plane. And you know, planes are hard to breathe in already. So we're just going to take some of this silicone, and it's going to cure all on its own. It's not like a two-part silicone where you have to mix it and then hope that you mixed it all well enough. And I'm realizing it would probably be easier to mix this stuff not on my saran wrap, but I really just don't want to waste any. Whew! This reeks! It smells awful. So now that's kind of mixed together. You can see it's just kind of like a light grayish teal. We'll see how that looks. Get it all off. And let's see how long this stuff takes to cure. Silicone is a 30-minute water-ready 100% silicone. And it's a mold-free product. Hello! We're using a mold-free product to make mold. Well, fungi. Same thing. So what we're going to do, actually, since this one's so dark, I'm going to use the black wire. I'm just gonna put it in there. And then you fold this over. And you push it. And so basically what we're doing is making like a little, like a mold. Like molding and casting, not mold as in bacteria type stuff. Let's see if we can't, I don't want to get that all messy. Let's find something to roll on here. Doot 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 doot. You could use a little thing of beads. Let's use a little thing of beads. Kind of like a little rolling pin. And I think I got a chunk of silicone in there. So there might be a little piece that's like lumpy in there, but like, hey, mushrooms aren't perfect. They're beautiful. So then this is going to be ready in 30 minutes. But what we want to do is kind of spread it out lengthwise so that we're making like a snake in there. And then smooth out the wrinkles so that those wrinkles don't form on our little mushroom stem. And this is going to be the stem. I don't know if I said that. So squeeze it out just a little bit more, make it a little bit taller. And yeah, we'll see how this turns out. I've never done this before, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. And so I actually it was better that I didn't use this one first because obviously it being flat on the table works a lot better than this would, where it won't lay flat because we already twisted it up. So I'm just gonna fix this one a little bit so that it can lay flat, at least to a point. Yeah, that's fine. But so yeah, look at that. We've got a cute little tube. The wire is in there. And all that excess that you see that's not where we want it, it's silicone. So we can just use like a knife or some tiny scissors or something to trim off everything we don't want. So I'm not really worried about getting every tiny bit where it needs to go. And like if it has a seam, we can trim the seam off. It'll be fine. I really don't like that little lump in there, but hey, whatevs. But we do want all these little wrinkles out. And the other thing you have to be careful of is that you'll have a flat side unless you pick it up and kind of round it off. So it's a little bit tricky. But also it's our first one. It's not going to be pretty. We know that. So just gently stroke the mushroom. Getting weird. Already getting weird, and we're only 29 minutes in, guys. Okay, so if you were really worried about... Whoa, stepping on my cord. If you were really worried about it laying flat, just get yourself a little piece of foam or something to hold it up. And hey, we'll pretend this is perfect so we can move on, right? Boop! We're just going to stick it in there. So now we've got this silicone to use. What I think we're gonna do is, because I still have some of this paint on my, oh, not very much. In fact, this silicone is already starting to harden. So we gotta hurry! So yeah, look, there's a little bit left of that paint. We'll just dab a teensy bit more in. And this is where you can start having a little bit of fun. Here, let me give you an update. You can see those big puddles around the paint. That's the oil coming out. So this is working. The longer it sits there, the better that'll work. So yeah. That way we just get more pigment and less oil. Because the more oil you put in here, the less that silicone is going to endure. It won't act like silicone anymore after a certain amount of oil you add in. So you just want to be careful of that, I think. I actually don't know what would happen if you put way too much oil in. So we've got our little bit of silicone here. I hope that's enough. We're actually going to add a little bit more. Just use up what we took out. And palette knives are freaking great for this. If you're going to be doing any sort of mixing stuff together, and like you don't want to just use a dumb stick or, you know, like a paint stick, this works way better. You can get almost everything back off. So yeah, what we got to do now is decide what we want the top to look like. By the way, hi everybody in the chat. I didn't say hi yet today. Hi. And yeah, Yoma Chaser, I think that's how you say your name, I'm sorry. I don't know, you can't, like, D&D rules don't say you can have mushroom familiars, but, like, we do what we want here. So, we're just kind of making it up. What we're doing now is taking just some Sculpey. It's not, you know, it's still soft, it hasn't been baked yet. But at this point, we can decide what shape we want it to look like. And if I want it to look like, say, that mushroom with that wavy top, I just have to kind of make a form that I can lay this silicone over. So if I just kind of do this, say, that'll work, right? And then on top of that, yeah. So we're going to set that aside, pick up all of our silicone, put it in here. Get that paint turd out of here. Get as much off the thing as I can. And then I'm actually going to do a sandwich instead. So I'm using 2 pieces of saran wrap, and I am squeezing it all in here. And then we take our little clay form, and we're just going to press it on. And in that tutorial they use pen caps for the teensy ones, and like a bouncy ball is what he says in another one. But then whatever form you want to do it around, just press it on like that, and it'll harden in that shape. And then we peel all the saran wrap off, and we'll have a perfectly good little mushroom cap. You don't want to pull it too tight or we'll ruin the little divot we made. But look at that! That's gonna be our little mushroom cap. And the cool thing is, if this is like too plain, or we want some texture on there, or some of these mushrooms even have like little, like, flicky, grody, like, crusties on them, I would say, you can make those out of silicone, or spots. Like, what if this needed red spots, say? You would mix up more silicone with red paint, and then just dab it on with a little paintbrush or stick or applicator of some kind, and then it sticks to silicone. So you can just do it in layers. Like, you're basically painting a 3D object, which will look really cool. So yeah, I need to find some way. I guess usually I would try to get like a rubber band or something. I just want to make sure none of this is too thin. That's the only thing. We don't want like a thin floppy mushroom. We want one that stands up on its own. What I'm gonna do, I think, is go get a hair tie. I'll be right back. Ugh. Hope I don't have any silicone on my gloves. Yeah, babe. So I'm still growing my hair out. I use these little hair ties. They're just little rubber bands. I'm just going to use one. Ugh, of course they're super hard to handle. Feistel says, I wonder if you could just shellac a real mushroom. Well, mushrooms are full of water. I have thought about this. Mushrooms are full of water, so anything that you use for shellac would have to be waterproof, but also waterproof in a way that it could dry on top of water. And there's very few shellacs, I think, that could do that. Even just sealants in general. Also, it would have to be flexible because even if it's a dried mushroom, if you like threw it somewhere, it would crack, and then your shellac would be the only thing holding it together. Or if it were a not dried mushroom, it would still have to be flexible because a not dry mushroom is obviously going to move around or break. They're not, mushrooms in general aren't very flexible. They kind of just pop, they crack, even when they're full of water. So I don't see why that wouldn't work with the right shellac. And then in that case, I mean, like, I've thought about this because I've wanted to make molds of very intricate mushrooms before, like, say, a morel mushroom. They've got a really cool texture, or, like a pattern of, like, vertices? I want to say that's the word. They're just the things that cross over each other in, like, a netting sort of way. And I've always wanted to be able to reproduce that easily, so I've totally thought about this. Ooh, somebody says they've seen shellacked pizza, which reminds me. Alright. So I ate some pizza. Now we're gonna have some, Ah! Wow! This is an eventful episode. Now there's cayenne pepper, kombucha all over my workspace. This cayenne pepper kombucha is amazing, by the way. Lovely stuff. Which reminds me, I have decided that the very last episode of Craft Hags, which will happen, I want to say, it's on my schedule. I want to say it's late May. No. Forget what I'm talking about. The last episode of Craft Hags will be a Snack Hags episode where I dress up as Scrummy and cook. So you guys need to decide what I'm cooking. I really enjoy cooking. I like making crazy dishes. So if you guys find a mushroom, we'll make it mushroom related. How about that? We'll make a mushroom related dish. Or something fungal. So like kombucha kind of stuff. Kimchi, things that are fermented. That's my jam. That's my thing. We're going to be doing something like that for the last episode because I really want to have some fun at the end. And I think we're going to finish this costume before the whole season's over. So near the end, I think we just need to think of some goofy nonsense and just make it crazy up in here. Let me get all the cayenne pepper off my workspace now. Do you have any sensitivities, gluten, dairy, etc.? Dairy is not my fave. Dairy and I are not really great friends. Obviously, I love cheese, stuff like that. But like, Alfredo dishes, like nothing that's primarily dairy, because that's just like, bah. But cheese is great. If you've got a dish that's cheesy, I know I've seen the Saint Brian from he hangs out in the Acquisitions Intoxicated and Acquisitions Inc. Chats a lot, C-Team sort of stuff. He makes a lot of great food. He's talked to me about some fungal type dishes, stuff like that. So like if you see a recipe that you're just like, what? That's so weird, please hit me up on Twitter at Craft Hags or at Danny Hartel, and we'll figure out what we're gonna make, because it's got to be something Scrummy would eat. And I want to see what you guys have to say about that. Like, what does Scrummy eat? So this silicone's already getting hard, which is awesome. We might have a finished mushroom here in a minute. Let's make, we need to get our saran wrap ready again. We only have one piece left, but let's make like a purple mushroom now. We have kind of a tealish green one, but I want like a violet. Ugh! Ooh, somebody said this leavened dumpling is pretty weird. That's what I'm talking about. I know you posted a link and then it didn't work, but yeah, like, oh, somebody said brie stuffed mushrooms. Yeah, see, if we could get like a kind of, ooh, mushroom quiche. Bonus points if it's cooked in a cauldron. I do have a large cast iron pot, but it's enameled, so it looks really pretty. But that might count as a cauldron, right? So I'm just going to cut up some more saran wrap here. And we're going to make another one. So yeah, I'm thinking purple. Oh, for the love. God, poop it. Oh, saran wrap, why? Why? Oh, it's folded over the other way. God. God! Maybe? Ugh. Dear saran wrap, I hate you. course doing this with gloves. Oh! We got it! We got it, guys. If you ever get your concrete craft table, I'd love to see it. Yeah, actually, we've been doing a lot more research on that, and after we move, I really hope to have like a big warehouse space, because I have some crazy big plans for my brand soon, and I can't really talk much more about it yet, but you guys will see soon. I have some huge plans, and I need some big space to pull them off. But I intend to make like an 8-foot by 12-foot concrete table that I can also do hammering like leather work on, because currently you need like a hard surface to do stuff on, and tables bounce, that doesn't work, you know, stuff like that. So I need a big concrete table to bang on and to spread felt out on, and then, you know, all the other fun stuff you do on tables. So what color should we do? This is the other fun part about silicone. You can just rub it off your surfaces when you're done. If it doesn't stick, that is. Yeah, look, cleaning this knife is gonna be just the easiest. Whew. So we'll make another one. Let's just go with a little bit of blue and a little bit of this magenta purple stuff. And wow, that's dark. It's still very blue, obviously. Mix in some more red. Man, okay, so here's where painting knowledge comes in. Some pigments, like phthalo blue or phthalo turquoise, which is what we had here. Phthalo is like a real bully of a pigment, and it does not play nicely with other pigments that are weaker. Like this nice, what is it? Permanent magenta is what we used. So it's just kicking that magenta's butt. So we kind of ended up with more of like a ultramarine blue. We'll just take a bunch more, how about that? Because I really want this to be kind of a warm purple, like a fuchsia. There, we kind of made it violet. Violet's good. And actually, let's hold it up to our... Yeah, that is the right color purple. Right in there. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted, and we got it. Hello, last name, first name, 3000. I am Danny Hartel. Nice to see you. What we're doing is making mushrooms. I'm mixing up my color right now. I like that color. This one's going to be a lot more translucent too, I think. So we just get this silicone out here. Whoop! There we go. There it is. Ooh, alrighty. So now we're going to mix our silicone with our paint. And that was so little amounts of paint, but it still obviously goes a long way. So, whoa, it reeks. Ugh, I always forget that. I'm gonna open this back door here. Goodness. Ugh. Did some remodeling on that door, and now it doesn't open very easily. Alright. Now we got fresh air flowing. My nasal cavity is still burning. This stuff is gross. Ugh. And nasty. That is some really dark... I mean, like, look. Like, I'm spreading that out super thin, and it is still crazy pigmented. So in the future, I know I need even less paint. But so what I'm gonna do is put this kind of in a little line. We'll make it about that long. We'll put our little wire in. This is what's gonna hold him still or make him pose. And then roll it up. Wow, this one ended up a lot nicer. Wow, you guys, it's almost perfect already. So what we're gonna do is just pinch. We're gonna pinch all that silicone into the area we want it. Try to make a nice little edge so that we don't have to do a ton of trimming of silicone that's in the wrong spots or in the wrong shape. And that's a pretty thick mushroom. I mean, like, that's my pinky. And we want, like, some of these, like, long spindly mushrooms, so. Boop, boop, boop. And at this point, you honestly could use this technique to make silicone objects of, like, any kind. I mean, like, if you wanted to make little tentacles, you could use silicone to do that. There's so many applications for this. This is oddly fun. Like, I thought this was going to be a little bit boring, but man. I'm creating life! Alright, so we've got our little, we'll just make this kind of a thick boy. Thick little mushroom. So yeah, I'm kind of folding over the edge so that I get that round shape and not like a weird, like, teardrop where I've been pinching, you know? Oh, somebody says my mic is crackling. Let me see. Wonder what's going on. Let me know what that sounds like. Yeah, Dirter, the low battery can do that on that mic. Sometimes it's a cord issue if my cord gets messed up. But hey, look, it's my my hair. Yeah, let me know if oh, somebody says it sounds better. I allowed this comment. Dat mushroom fan be thick, yo. I like it. But yeah, if that's better. Echoey, yeah, because it's a room mic. Sorry about that. We're just doing this on a teensy little budget, so I apologize about the unfortunate technical difficulties we get every once in a while. But yeah, what kind of silicone is being used? Someone asks. This kind. There's a bunch of different kinds you can use. Usually you just have to make sure it's 100% silicone. Sometimes I've seen somebody say it was a different brand, but it was like called Silicone 1 versus like Silicone 2. I don't know what any of that means, but I was just following directions. You can get it in white, you can get it in clear. We're using clear because we're tinting.
And we do want it to be translucent. So now we're going to make the cap. So I'm just going to squeeze this into kind of a round shape. And then we're going to take some more Sculpey and make our cap shape. And so since this one was wavy, we kind of have like a little divot in the middle and it's kind of coming over the edges a little bit. Let's do something different with this one. Like some mushrooms kind of have like a taller cap. Like instead of just being a flat cap, it's like a dome, you know, and then it's like a bell shape. That's a good way to say it. But yeah, hi Mini Train Domain, nice to see you. So what we're doing is making little mushroom familiars. And right now, I'm on the second mushroom. You guys can see the other mushrooms we've made, mushroom parts at least, over there. So let's just figure out what kind of shape we want. So I think I'm just going to make it kind of like, it's like a little crooked. You know, it's got some bumps and weirdness in it. That's good. It'll look more natural that way. So now I'm just going to take our sandwiched silicone and spread it down around our shape. We don't want it too thin, but we do want it to try to cover our shape. Or not. Maybe it's just going to come off weird and a waffle hut. A waffle style hut. It is kind of hut shaped. And then all we want to make sure is that there aren't so many wrinkles around the top, because mushrooms don't really have wrinkles on top all the time. So like you can see all those little wrinkles. We kind of want to get rid of those. That might be hard. But oh look, yeah, once you kind of get it pulled down, they're at least less noticeable. And then if we wanted to, we could do another layer of silicone on top of this and just like smooth over all those little wrinkles. So like we can do a lot to perfect the shape afterwards. So yeah, we got it covered. It's just inside there. And what I'm gonna do is take a little rubber band and tie it up so it stays there while it dries. And we have an hour left, so these are definitely going to be dry by the end of the episode, and we'll get to see what they look like. We definitely don't want any flat spots though, so I need to figure out somewhere to put this. Ooh, here we go. Oh no, can't do that. What's this? Cup? Nope. Watch Danny do this unplanned. Episode 10. Ooh, look. Yeah. We'll just do this. Boop. Hee hee. Fun fact, scissors make great mushroom cap holders. Who knew? I hope you all really liked the makeup episode, because that was the most fun I've ever had streaming in my life, and I loved it, and I feel like you guys had fun too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was way awesome. I had so much fun. I really am going to consider doing more makeup stuff in the future. But yeah. Try to open this kombucha again without it exploding. But hey, look, now I can eat pizza and the mic isn't in my face. So yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the, yeah, sorry, that's just kombucha for my mouth. It's not for crafts. But it's delicious. I'm going to show it off again. It's cayenne flavored. So we're going to wait for these to dry. In the meantime, I can show you guys some of this moss I have. This is going to be the moss that I sew onto my shoulders. It's going to go straight onto the tunic shoulders. It's kind of, the way I've got it designed, it'll kind of feel like epaulettes or shoulder pads, just that kind of feel. You can kind of see where I've got like splotches of purple up here. That's originally like purple felt, which I still want to do, but some of it I do want to put moss in. So it's going to be like a collection of both. All right, little mushroom, you're going to have to sit somewhere else. Here. Sit in a little glove chair. These are my serious scissors. But so this is like just fake moss. It comes in like a big flat roll. Like it's big. I think I just got it at either Michael's, Joann's, or Hobby Lobby. They're all around here. I can't remember where I got what all the time. But this stuff's great. What it is like a lot of little brown wires, which are really hard on scissors. You can't just cut through it because it's literally small wires. Unless you have like these things and then a sharpener, like a scissor sharpener, because they will ruin your scissors. And then they've just blown like little green bits of flocking into it, which get everywhere. Like it just comes off. Like you can probably already see all this green flocking that's just coming off everywhere. There, I'll make a little pile. I've had this stuff in my couch, in my clothes, in other places that are uncomfortable, and it's not fun. And a lot of fake moss is made that way. Here's another type of moss. It comes in a roll that's smaller. This stuff's even crunchier, but you can just see all the stuff coming off of it. It's awful. And for costumes, it's very awful because, you know, we want to wear it. But you can do a little bit of maintenance with it, just trying to get all the flocking off that's just gonna come off anyway before you sew it to your garment, or glue it to your, I don't know, like if you were gonna make like a Reinhardt costume and you wanted to do the overgrown skin, you would need like grass and moss. You'd need grass and moss for a lot of costumes. Or just decor. Decor is better because you're not wearing it most of the time. But yeah, you might want to try like covering it in some things. A lot of things are going to change the way it looks. So yeah, like some people are saying hairspray, spray glue. Some of those things might work. But yeah, it's going to change the way it looks. What I like to do is just like kind of just beat the shit out of it until a lot of the stuff comes off. And then vacuum it up, because even just sweeping it up is freaking awful. It just gets everywhere. I'm already itchy. I hate it. But this stuff does look great, and you can pull it apart, make it look more natural that way. It comes really tightly woven, but since it's just glued together wire, you can kind of rip it up. This is what we'll be doing. And it will be probably putting it on my shoulder kind of in this fashion. It's not going to be a lot. We could like pile it on, but then I might look a little bit football player-y. We don't want that. Scrummy is also not somebody who is powerful muscle-wise or very proud. And when you build up the shoulder shapes, that's why on a lot of villains they have the pointy shoulders. Or, you know, like a business suit. Beefing up your shoulders makes you look like you have more power, more, you know. So just be aware when you're putting stuff on for decoration how it's going to change the shape that you originally planned, because it might start communicating things that you didn't intend. So to combat that, we do want to put moss on for our mushrooms to live in, but it needs to be thin and small, and not heavy. That's about all I want to do. It's just going to be a little bit. So once we have like a piece of moss like this one, what I would do is just kind of use a couple stitches to hang it onto my shirt, and then it's never going to come off. But then our little mushrooms will just stick through. Let's see how this one's doing actually, because we made it almost 30 minutes ago. See how this goes. Yeah, Crystal said that matte acrylic sealant might work. Definitely, sometimes matte sealants can get cloudy, so you'll want to make sure it's a really clear one. Otherwise, it's gonna like change the way the moss looks in like a weird crusty way. That's the only way I can think to say it, but you know, it might not look that great. But yeah, please experiment, especially if you want to keep yourself clean and keep all the grodies out. Just try stuff. So yeah, our shape is holding. I'm pulling this off. It's not super dry, but it is getting there. Ooh, yeah! So that's about how much is left on there, but then we've got this nice little silicone thing. It's gonna be kind of hard to see. But yeah, so this one's really ugly. It is still sticky too, so we don't want to touch it any more than we just did. But it'll air dry. I mean, I think it needs access to air to dry. So you want to let it like cure a little bit in that shape, but then probably take the stuff off eventually to make sure it's doing what it needs to do. So let's get this guy free. Free yourself, little friend. Garbage. I really hope I don't mess this up. Oh, saran wrap. Come on. Behave. Ah! I already dropped it. What is the silicone wrapped in? On a wire? Yes, it is just a wire. The tutorial I linked earlier, I'll link it again in case there are new people that really want to see somebody doing this quickly and correctly. There's the link again. They are putting lights in their mushrooms because this is silicone. It's see-through. You can put lights in it and it'll look really cool. We aren't doing that because I'm not going to be wearing this costume anywhere in the dark, so they wouldn't show up, and especially not in pictures. So instead of wasting our time trying to get it to light up and then nobody ever noticing, we're just going to skip it. Which is disappointing. It would have been fun. So this is still really sticky. I'm going to leave it in there. Because it's not getting any air, it might take a little bit longer to cure. Or it might never cure. That might be a hitch in the road we didn't see coming. The way to fix that is if you're getting this problem where it's never curing, what you're going to want to do is look at the kind of silicone you have and then see if there's an alternative that doesn't need air to cure. Obviously it was exposed to air when we were mixing the paint in, but there's a million kinds of this stuff. So some of it is meant to cure underwater, like for fixing pipes that are already submerged, stuff like that. So just look into what you're using. If it's just really not working, just try another brand of the same stuff that has some different properties. You can usually read the label and find out everything it's going to do. But yeah, so we want to wait for these to cure a little bit more. Other things that we're going to do is probably, along with attaching all the mushrooms to the bottom, I guess I could show you how we're going to do that. Let's find the wire cutters again. Ready? Ugh. So here's some more wire. I'm just like scavenging off of this wire. You can just get armature wire. You don't have to just use stuff you found. But I'll show you how this is all going to go together. So like say this is one of our mushroom stems. And the thing is, if you wanted really, really thin mushroom stems, you don't even have to put silicone on this. You could just paint this with oil paint, wait for it to dry. Or acrylic paint. You don't have to do oil paint either, especially on this plastic stuff. I don't know how oil paint would work. But yeah, mess around, see what's going to work. Then all we're going to do really is take our mushroom stem, find a good place where the moss is still thick, like right there. That's a good spot. And then on the bottom, all we're going to do is like kind of make like a little stand that'll hold the mushroom upright. And you could even sew it down, just take some stitches, get it all attached. And it doesn't really need to be attached really hard, but then once it goes on the shoulder, it's going to stick up because we made that little like kickstand for it. And then you can pose them. They can like be like sad mushrooms. They can look at you. It can be mad and look away. Like this mushroom's not going to have a face. or eyes or anything. He's just a sentient mushroom. So you can do a lot of like puppetry, I guess, with just the way it's bent and stuff. But then yeah, you can make him wavy, you can make him like proud and just standing up straight, or you know, whatever. But then if it's not stable enough, you can add more stitches to get that little kickstand we made stitched into the shirt. That way it never goes anywhere. And obviously this is too tall. If I went like this, I am screwed. I'm gonna get a mushroom to the face or the ear. That would be very bad. But so yeah, it's good to do a lot of tests, especially in the process, so you don't end up with like this beautiful mushroom that you have to cut apart because it got too big or something. And then we could use more stitches to add texture in the felt and in the moss. We could add beads if we wanted, so that it kind of looks like the rest of the texture we did on the corset and on the shoes and stuff like that. Basically just doing whatever you want to make it match your costume more. So let's see how this, ooh! This is still a little bit sticky, but it is solid. So I think what I'm going to do here is we'll take my little scissors Oh man! Oboe Crazy's here. Hi, Oboe Crazy. So what I'm going to do is just take, I know it won't focus, but you can see how like ugly that edge got. We're just going to take our scissors, and we can even bend it so that it's easier. We're just going to take our scissors and trim off all the stuff we don't like. And then if we wanted, I think what I'll do is actually patch this one, because it ended up really ugly. Oh, it's okay, Oboe Crazy. As long as you're here and happy at least 1 minute. That's all I require. Just kidding. You don't have to show up at all, Oboe Crazy. We love you anyway. So yeah, because this got so ugly, I'm just going to show you how to fix your mistakes. How about that? We're just going to put that there. Oh wait, we need gloves. Derp! Don't forget the gloves! Okay. Take our cap off. We're just going to squeeze out a little bit of clear silicone. We're not going to bother tinting it, because the tint is already underneath. This is clear. We're just trying to cover up some mistakes, that's all. So let's clean this off. See, look, this is already drying. Yeah, I said derp, you heard me. So yeah, I've actually just noticed that the silicone that sits exposed to air is curing a lot faster than the stuff under it. So I know that this silicone specifically needs air The other thing is, if you really wanted to, while it's half sticky like this, you could put stuff in it, like dirt or moss flocking. So let's just, we're gonna get crazy here. We are going to roll this half sticky stem in the moss flocking, because it'll just give it like a little bit of texture. And then we're going to cover it up with more silicone, so you'll actually be able to see it inside. Ooh, this could get weird, guys. I'm excited. I mean, it's weird already, but that is going to add a little bit of green to this teal, too. Ooh, I like it! So yeah, now we have like a weird hairy stick of silicone. I'm going to put it back in there for a second while I get this cleaned off. So yeah, before I make the actual mushrooms that will be going on my shoulders, I'm going to look for a different kind of silicone that doesn't need air to cure, or just try another brand. Maybe we'll never talk about that on the label. I've got a weird set of needs here, that the people that make the silicone were not, they were thinking about me and my needs. They were thinking about normal people needs. But so what I'm gonna do is, just like frosting a cake, I'm just gonna fill in all the little gaps and holes, smooth it out with my little palette knife. And this will be, oh, I forgot. There we go. I forgot that we need fresh air, or my nose is gonna get angry at me again. So I'm just frosting this with new silicone that's completely clear over all that flocking I just rolled it in. And I have no idea what this is gonna look like. It's kind of gonna be a fun experiment. Whew! Yeah, it kind of reeks. Wow! Mini Terrain Domain says, I might have missed the first part, but if you add your 100% silicone to a water super lubed up with Dawn dish soap, the soap acts as a catalyst to make the silicone less sticky and cure faster. I use this for custom mold making. It may not work for this application though. Wow! That's a really, really good tip. Thank you, Mini Terrain Domain. I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna try that. What did you say? If you add your 100% silicone to a water super lubed up with Dawn dish soap. Okay, so it's just soapy water. See, it's good to make crafting friends because everybody knows a little something you don't. I'm glad you're my friend. Ooh, see, somebody else said, ooh, D-W-U-N-G, Dwung. I have used a silicone product called PDMS, and that cures fine without air contact. Very good tip. So yeah, now some people are saying would you put the silicone in the water, or mix the water into the silicone, or just use the water, the soapy water on your hands so that you can handle the silicone better? Those are all very good questions. So I've got this all smoothed on. It looks a lot shinier. It's obviously pretty lumpy. But yeah. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna try this soapy water thing right now. I'll be right back. Because right here, I have a whole thing full of water with Dawn dish soap in it already. So what I'm gonna do, from that cup we found later, I don't know what's in that cup. Need to get a new cup. Look at that, we have cups. Yeah, it's okay, Mini Train Domain. We're just gonna test this theory. See if it works. Get a bowl of water and put a bunch of Dawn in it till it's slippery. Oh, you guys moved. Then add silicone into the water, knead it a bit, then it acts like a gel. Ooh, okay. We're gonna try it! We might need some more dish soap because this is not super soapy. But look at that, we even have Dawn dish soap right here! Man, this is like super on the fly stuff. We don't plan here at Craft Hags. Lol. Again, I know it works for making molds. Not sure what you're doing there. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it is lavender scented. We're gonna... Okay, so that's super soapy. Hee hee hee! This is fun, you guys. Science! So here's the silicone. We're just gonna try it with this much. And I'll knead it with my 2 fingers. Knead away for a few minutes. Okay. Wow, it's Mini Train Domain's birthday. Happy birthday, Mini Train Domain. Hey, I think we should dedicate this episode of Craft Hags to Mini Train Domain and their incredible soapy ideas that may or may not work. We'll see. Hey, if it doesn't work, at least we know it doesn't work, right? At least for this. So I'm kneading. It does seem to be firming up a little bit, so that's a development. It's easier to handle in the water. Level 45 today. Congrats, Mini Terrain Domain. Yeah, see, I'm also used to using silicone in mold making stuff, so this is all pretty new to me too. Just the use of, you know, like industrial silicone. My ball of silicone seems to be getting smaller. I think it's because it's sticking to my gloves. But the part that I still have control of definitely seems to be easier to handle. Oh, and it was Dr. Cantrez's birthday too. Happy late birthday! How about happy late birthday to everybody? This is the birthday episode. We dedicate it to all the people who are gonna have birthdays this year, or who have had one. Yeah, I really hope this works for mine too. It seems to be working. I'm gonna just leave the little ball off to the side now and see if it cures on its own now. Because at this point, I've gotten a lot on my fingers, and I think if I keep doing that, we're just gonna lose all our silicone. But look at that, little experiments. Ooh, yeah, Astrid said we could squeeze some of the silicone in there and let it sit for a bit. That might work. Uh-oh. We dropped it in the flocking. Better mix it in. Ooh. No, it's totally working. You guys, it works. And I rubbed some flocking in there just to see what it's gonna look like. But look at that! Now we have a little flocked ball of silicone. Gross. Okay, we officially have like a full-on science experiment going on over here now. That's totally gonna cure. So I'm just gonna peel off the rest of this, because it's definitely cured enough now that it won't stick to the plastic anymore. And I'm going to use some of this soapy water and just massage it on. What are you going to make here? Sorry, new here. That's okay. To people who are new here, I know we've been talking about birthdays for a minute, but we're making mushroom familiars. These are going to be little mushrooms that sit on my shoulder as a part of my D&D costume, and my character has a mushroom familiar because she serves the demon queen Zugdmoy. Zugdmoy is the queen of decay and fungus and mushrooms and ooze and all that fun stuff. So I figured it was only appropriate to have a mushroom familiar that would maybe someday speak to Scrummy about Zugdmoy's wants and needs. Okay, I'm going to take the mold out, the little thing, and look at that! It's sticking up all on its own. It's going to be that shape. And then you can kind of see through it a little bit. But it is a tad thin, so we did learn also that we need to make these caps a little bit thicker if they're going to stand up on their own. And now I'm going to try to peel back the underside without ruining the shape. We have mushroom birth! Alright, it's still pretty soft on the underside, so I'm just gonna drape it back over until it cures a little bit more. But look at that! Ah! Don't drop your finished mushrooms, guys. It's not good. I'm reading everything you guys are saying. You're talking about dumb butts. Old dumb butts. We're all old dumb butts. Yeah, you're right. And jump scare. Sorry. Sorry. So yeah, let's see how this is working out. Yeah, so that really thin layer of silicone that we put on there is already drying. But I'm gonna hit it with some soapy water and see if that helps it cure a little faster. Man, we're always just getting graphic on this show, huh? Stroking stems. Soapy stems. I'm sorry, this is family friendly or something. You sick flock? Oh my god, you guys, we're gonna have our own whole vocabulary of awful non-cuss words. I love it. More to the left, Danny. Dear God, you people. You people are my people, and I love you. Yeah, look. Thick slubs and soapy stems just got... Allow... We're gonna have to turn off the naughty word filter for just this show, I think. Thick slubs and soapy stems. But yeah, that's totally working. And look, it's kind of shiny now. If you can tell. Let me get some light over here. Oh yeah, now you can see that it's kind of glossy. Obviously, still kind of lumpy and whatever. And we'll do better next time because I know what not to do. But since we're going to be done playing with the silicone now, I'll take my gloves off. Green flock! Oh my god, you guys are the funniest. I'm going to allow all your non-sexual blocked stuff. You guys. Still get the 10-minute timeout. Oh my god. I'm sorry you guys are getting timed out for talking about our soapy slubs. But yeah, somebody said they wanted to see the picture again. Here it is. This is what it's going to look like when it's all done. And since we're still kind of waiting for some of these things to cure, I guess I'll go over what I'm going to be touching up and finishing this week. Everybody make sure you check the Twitter moment. That's where I will be posting all this stuff. I'm probably also going to be posting some fun, you know, not finished photos of things, but like, oh look, here's a goofy thing kind of photos on Instagram and on the Twitter at Craft Hags. So check up with those if you want to see how this costume's coming together. I'm going to be finishing the necklace that we started a few weeks ago and posting pictures of that. The boots still have some finishing touches they need. I need to post those. You haven't seen those since they're finished yet. The corset's all done. I just haven't taken a photo of it yet. I might add some more... Ooh, it's windy. I might add some more details on that, but I will be posting pictures of all this stuff this week. Finally, life has slowed down enough, and I've caught up with all of my moving stuff. So I will have all week to do nothing but finish scrummy stuff, and this costume is going to start coming together really quick, guys. It's going to be really fun. But yeah, and I'm planning on using a lot of this moss, as much as I hate it, just in different pieces, like on the corset. I might have a little bit like on the boots here or there. And then next week, I think we're gonna be starting pants, you guys. And pants are gonna be a whole thing. I'll show you guys how to like drape pants for yourself though. We're gonna be doing kind of a pattern of pants. I used kind of on Kate Welch's Rosie Bee Stinger costume. I made hers into a onesie, but the same pattern will apply. It's like a wraparound sort of pant, so it's going to fit literally anyone. I mean, like, you know, if you're crazy bigger than I am, my pants won't fit you, but this pattern I'm gonna make is pants that would work for a lot of costumes. So if you need to make some kind of specific pant for yourself, but like, and also let's say your weight fluctuates a lot. Mine used to. I have lost and gained like 40 pounds in a year sometimes, and you don't always want to come back to a costume and it just not fit because you either gained or lost weight. So this pattern I'm going to show you guys is going to be really cool and comfortable. Like, they're comfortable cosplay pants. Like, that's insane. But also, we're going to be doing felting into silk. So it's going to be purple that comes up into sheer silk gauze, so you'll be able to see through the pants a little bit, which I'm not really sure how it's going to look. I want them to look worn out, though. That's kind of why I'm doing that. I'm not trying to show off my thighs or anything. That's not, like, a thing Scrummy cares about. But they will, it kind of the way burnout t-shirts used to be really popular, where parts of them were a little more sheer and then other parts still had, you know, substance to them. That kind of sheer, not like fishnet stocking sheer. But I think they're going to look really cool. I've never seen pants made this way before, so I'm not really even sure what they're going to look like, but they're going to be really comfy and awesome, and I really think that they would work for a lot of other costumes too. So stay tuned. That's going to be next week. And this crazy big necklace I'm going to make is going to be like a whole thing. Like, it's gonna like come down to here. It's gonna be big. It might glow. I don't know if I can put LEDs in it, but I'm gonna try. And I know that I said I don't like LEDs for this because nobody's ever gonna see it, but this is a magical object, so I'm gonna shove as many LEDs as I can into this teensy thing to try to make it visible, even in bright light. So we'll see how far I get with that. It may completely fail, but that's okay. I'm gonna try. Another thing is we've got all these little skulls and jawbones that I want to make molds of because I like how this looks. I want to put it as like a decoration on the shirt. Probably more like that. And then doubled over here. You can see those right here. But obviously this is sharp. There's freaking teeth in it. Also, the teeth like will fall out. I don't want to wear this, but also putting a real bone on a costume can be hard because you don't know where you're going to be flying to wear this, like to a convention, say, and maybe, I don't know, let's say this is like from some protected species in New York where it's illegal to own this stuff, but like say out here in Washington you can find this in your yard, which is what happened here, in case you're wondering. But I don't want to mess with real bones and animal stuff traveling and trying to take this costume places, so I want to mold them and cast them in a flexible foam and then paint them to look realistic, so they're gonna look like exact copies of those, but they'll be like movable and flexible, and then that way when I'm giving people hugs, I'm not poking the ever-loving shit out of their face or whatever part of their body I happen to squeeze against myself. It would get very painful, right? For them and for me. So I still have to figure out how I'm going to do that. I don't even know, but we're going to try that coming up soon. Yeah, we've got a lot to do here, and I'm really excited because I finally have the time and the brain power to devote to this costume for a little while. So, yeah. Let's see how this is going. Because these are dry, I can touch them with my hands now. It's not going to be a big deal. Woo! So the top's dry, but the bottom is not because it was in plastic the longest. So I'm just going to flip it over, let it sit there. Yeah, they will totally confiscate your stuff if you've got pieces of a costume that are dangerous or, you know, illegal. You never know. So I'm gonna try bending this thing, even though it's not completely dry, so that we can get a cap on. And I can show you how that's gonna work. Now in the tutorial, they have like some cotton pads that they put underneath the cap. I'm actually going to try to make the under part of the cap out of silicone too. So what I've done is I've twisted the top of the wire in that little shape, and then it's just going to sit on like that. Once it's dry. So what I'm going to do first is trim off all this excess stuff that we don't want. It's not part of the mushroom. It's just the part where we didn't squeeze it through all the way. So we're just cutting off all the pieces that we don't like. So what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm just going to use more silicone to glue it on there. Shroom gills sound hard to make. Well, the thing is, all those little lines in the plastic could easily make gill shapes if we just figure out how to get them to sit that way. So let's try it. Let's see how hard gills are going to be to make. Let's just take a little piece of our plastic. We'll put our top that we made, our cap, down. And then I'm just going to place the little wire thing in the middle. And then, yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I could use an extra hand for this. Where's my assistant? Just kidding, I don't have one. We're gonna open the door again, get some ventilation, and I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit of silicone boop, right in there. Get our cap back on. Then we're going to take this and shove it in. Sound effects are necessary. And then I think what I'm going to do is just cut a little teensy hole in the middle of our plastic that we used on the top of the cap and just slide it down around that stem, and then this will cover the silicone while we shape it into those gill shapes. So I can just take like a little stick and like draw little lines out from the middle, or if I wanted I could make wrinkles, which will probably end up looking a lot more realistic if I can figure out how to fold all the plastic around it. Ooh, yeah, look, actually, if you push the plastic in, oh, guys, we just figured it out. So yeah, if you just experiment, you can usually figure out a way to make it look like what you were going for. And I could make this even better by coloring that silicone we put in the bottom white. It doesn't have to be clear or the same color as the rest of the mushroom. And so yeah, I'm just making wrinkles in the plastic. And that's totally gonna look like gills. Look at that. Done! Somebody just said, man, I wish I had her talent. This is pure dumb luck right here. There is no talent. I completely pulled this out of my butt right now. And to be honest, that tutorial that I keep linking, like, I read it a couple times, but I haven't been looking at it at all. I'm completely winging this, and you can too. But yeah, so if this doesn't reach all the way out to the cap, you can always just squeeze a little bit more under there. Ugh. That cap is hard to get off, man. So yeah, we're missing a little bit of silicone here. We've got a big empty space. I'm just going to fill that in. Same on this other side. I gotta be careful to keep it off the top, or we'll just make a big mess. I wish they made silicone applicators like this that squeezed out less silicone. That could be cool. Like a smaller tip or something. That'd be nice. So we're just going to press that down and then fix our little gills. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. So look at that. This is what our mushroom is going to look like. You can kind of see it in my camera here from the side. This is a big one, like sitting off my shoulder. It sticks out pretty big. But yeah, look at that. Looks like a mushroom on top. After we pull this plastic off, all those little wrinkles and shapes. We'll make those little gills that we wanted. And then if I want to, I can add more silicone on top at any point. There's actually a ton of flocking stuck to the top. I'm gonna fix the camera so you guys can see. At least right here at the end. That's not the right one. There we go. There. See that? Close up cam. Yeah, you can see all the little flocking that was stuck there. You can see the little gills that we formed with that plastic. As soon as that dries in there, which will be a while because it's under plastic, and we learned earlier that it needs air, at least with this brand. But yeah, look at that. We have a cute little mushroom. We started another one, but it didn't quite dry in time. This one's gonna look really cool because it's like a cap. It's a little bit more of a bell-shaped cap. I'm gonna take this glove off too. But yeah, we only have about 3 minutes left, so I'm gonna again thank Sirenscape. They are making all the noises that we're listening to. You should check them out. They're great for a lot of things, especially playing D&D. Thank you to Obo Crazy for being our mod. She's amazing. Thank you to Crystal. She's the one that put together the Discord for Craft Hags, where I'm going to be hanging out a lot more this week, especially because life has been nonsense lately. But now I've got a whole week to do nothing but scrummy. We're going to finish all the things. I'm going to be posting pictures all week of all the stuff I'm finishing. We might be making some changes soon. I don't know. Maybe I don't like that cloak anymore. Who knows? So we'll be discussing all that. I'll be keeping you guys updated. There will probably be a lot of funny weirdness that happens this week as I try to finish all this stuff. But yeah, next week, pants. We're going to make pants, and you should come and watch the pants episode because you can wear these pants too and customize them for your own costumes in a million different ways. And they're going to be so comfy and awesome and weird and gross, which is perfect. But yeah, stay tuned. Dragon Talk is coming up with Greg Tito. I know they've got some interviews planned today. It's going to be awesome, and they're going to be talking about the new products coming out. So if D&D is your thing, please stay tuned. I'll close that door before it blows crazy winds in here. But yeah, everybody have a great week. This was super fun, and I will post pictures of these failure mushrooms after they're dry later tonight, so stay tuned for that. I'm Danny Hartel. I've been your host. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I messed all this up and acted really weird. So yeah, see you guys all next week.